Okay, Spider-Man fans, it is me, Monty G here. Welcome to the Spider-Man Brand New Day spoiler stream. Of course, I have on my right my good friend, all the way from Ireland. It is Marty from the Trash Picture Show. It looks like we're still having some
How you
delays
doing? What's the crack, Monty?
here. Now, just before we begin, let everybody know, even though Spider Man Brand New Day has been out for almost 2 weeks, there are some people who have not seen this movie. So I suggest that you stop the live stream, go watch Spider Man Brand New Day because we will spoil it. There's some major spoilers here. So I suggested that you stop watching, go see the movie, and then come back and watch the replay. All right. Other than that, you've been warned. So obviously, to begin, Marty, what was your overall feeling about
We've
Spider-Man
told
Brand?
you. Now
Mhm.
is your chance to turn back.
So, Marty, what is your overall opinion about Spider-Man Brand New Day?
I loved it. I adored it. I think it's the closest to the Raimi era Spider-Man. And I that isn't just because of him getting kind of more natural powers. I just think Raimi captured how fucking miserable and depressing it was to be Spider-Man. And I think the director knocked it on the head because if Spider-Man is happy in a movie, you're doing it fucking wrong. Spider-Man is meant to be miserable, and Peter is miserable in this movie.
Yeah, because when you look at Spider-Man back, I guess during the when Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created him, he was basically a teenager that obviously was not a good guy. He was a total geek, but he never nothing good ever happened to him at all throughout his day. I mean, unfortunately, he gets bullied by Flash Thompson. He doesn't have any girlfriends. And all of a sudden he becomes Spider-Man, or you think all good things happen to him, but nothing really good happens to him even after he becomes Spider Man.
No, there was like one comic story I remember where he stopped a bank robbery and the bank owner wrote him a check, but he couldn't cash it because he couldn't show his identity. He couldn't prove that he was Spider-Man. And I was like, man, how fucking depressing was that?
I know that's funny. It's like I can't cash his check because I can't prove who I'm Spider Man. But then again, he's probably not even a
Oh
legal
man.
citizen in the United States. Oh man, that's good. Yeah, I actually thought that this Spider Man was I guess you could say might have been the best out of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. Not, I really didn't have a problem with all three Spider-Mans, but I believe this could be the best one. I think this one of the main complaints that I've seen when it comes to Tom Holland Spider-Mans is that for some reason they're not actual Spider-Man films because there's always an Avenger or somebody else in his roles. Because with Homecoming we had obviously Tony Stark
Yeah.
in Far From Home, we had Nick Fury, and of course, in No Way Home, we got the three Spider Mans. With Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider Man. And this is the first time, even though we do have the Punisher, and we have the Punisher, and of course, the obviously the worst kept secret in the internet. Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. Yes, yes. Unfortunately, it was the worst kept secret. I was really hoping, and we'll talk about this later, that she was not going to be Jean Grey. But well, obviously, when it came out that she was Jean Grey, it's like, oh. But the audience loved it though. They clapped. When I went to go see it, me and my wife Kelly went to go see it. They clapped. They were very happy.
I was not happy with Jean Grey, but as you said, we'll get into that later on. Um, you're dead right, Monty. This is one of the few MCU movies where I feel the audience didn't have to do homework. They didn't have to watch fucking 15 Disney Plus shows, and like, yeah, they introduced Frank.
Hmm.
They introduced Frank, because yeah, he was in Daredevil, Born Again, and the Netflix shows and stuff. But again, you could just go off the bounce that this is the Punisher. You didn't necessarily need to see all those fucking shows, and the Hulk showed up as well. But like, who in the name of fuck doesn't know who the Hulk is? So I think this was the one that required the least kind of, I need to do fucking 30 fucking years worth of homework in order to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty. I like I said, really did enjoy the film. I thought it was a great film. Obviously, everyone else is enjoying the film. Did you expect Spider-Man to make this amount of money that it's making?
Um, I am surprised because I thought with fucking No Way Home, because the level of fan service and the level of kind of love and reverberation, for better or worse, that movie kind of gave off. I thought that would have been the most popular. I don't think I never thought that could be topped. But I suppose as well that maybe it's a good thing that the audience has been starved for decent MCU movies. Like the Thunderbolts was great,
Mm,
but I think this is kind of like helping to wean people over till Doomsday comes on, and I I didn't think there was anything super special about it, and I was shocked that it was making a shitload of money. But I that's also the power of Spider-Man. I mean, yeah, the MCU movies make fucking big bank, but Spider-Man, there was a reason that they negotiated with Sony, because Spider-Man is, I genuinely think Spider-Man is kind of Marvel's answer to Superman, where like DC, their version of their big kind of hitter is Superman or
mm.
Batman. Spider Man is Marvel. Spider Man is like, when you say Marvel, first thing you think of is Spider Man. So yeah, I shouldn't be. I was surprised, but I shouldn't be.
Yeah, I was a little bit. I wasn't surprised, but but how much money it's making, I was a bit surprised. But when you look at the overall picture, when it comes to comic book characters, Spider-Man is the most popular character as far as comic books is concerned. The next closest is Batman, but the distance between those is so far ahead. It's no joke. No one's not going to top Spider-Man. So that's the reason why it's been making a whole boatload of money, you know. And like I said, the Thunderbolts was pretty good, you know, but unfortunately, none of those characters are as popular, as I say, like say Spider-Man is. So that's the reason why it's making a boatload of money. And like I said, yeah, oh well, Andrew said he didn't like Jean Grey in his movie. Yeah, we'll
I
talk more
like this
about.
Campbell chap. I like this Campbell chap. He's on the same fucking wavelength as me.
Yeah, but we'll talk about more about Jean Grey later. But let's talk about obviously Tom Holland. What do you think about his performance in Spider Man this time?
I thought I he is so likable in the other ones, but this
Mm,
one, not only is he likable, you just feel so fucking bad for him. He is just in the lowest he's ever been. Like again, Aunt May is gone. Everyone
mm,
he cares about has forgotten who he is. The Avengers don't know who he is. It's just he is at the lowest he's ever been. Like, sure, the city loves him, and like I think he got the key to the city, and he's fighting off all these, these new henchmen and stuff like that, and he's beating them, and New York loves him, but he is in just such a lonely place, and I'm like, I just want to invite him over and go, hey Peter, do you want to play fucking Xbox or something? I just felt so bad for the guy, and that is a
mm.
testament to Holland. You're like, oh my god, I feel so sorry for this fucking dude, and it's just a knockout performance from him.
Now, I think for the first time, he's actually playing a more mature version of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He's not the wide-eyed kid who's might be over his head, especially when we first see him in Civil War. He looks like he's seeing these larger-than-life action heroes, and even though he holds his own, like he did against Winter Soldier and the Falcon. and he does an excellent job in battling Paul Rudd when he's Goliath. You know,
Hmm.
but he's not like a wide-eyed kid like he does in, I would say, in the first two Spider-Man films, whereas Homecoming and No Way Home. I mean, Far From Home. Here he looks like a mature, grown-up Spider-Man, and yes, you do feel sorry for him for the decisions that he's made. Even though he knew he had to do it in order to protect MJ and Ned. But yeah, but he's definitely has grown really good into the role, and I got to give him credit, Tom Holland, because I really haven't seen him act in any other films. When he got cast, I didn't see in what's that movie, Uncharted. I never saw
Yeah.
that film, so I don't know how well he did. I didn't do too well because they didn't make any sequels with that one. Because I guess they wanted to do a franchise for that, but I guess that film didn't. Did you see Uncharted?
I That wasn't Holland's fault. That movie was dog shit, and it was. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be reverse ageist, but he was
Hmm.
far too young to be playing the lead
Hmm.
character in that Nathan Drake. You needed
Hmm.
someone a bit older. I again, he is as you said, there is this great kind of subtle arc of maturity throughout the series. I did like they kind of acknowledged it as well when he's breaking back into the damaged facility and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to do lunges. What do you guys think of lunges? I'm not in high school anymore." I just like that. It's like,
Yeah,
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 he's
that was funny. All right, so we got to talk about Zendaya. So, what do you think about her in this particular film?
um. At first, I was like, Jesus Christ, they're really kind of making her a non-entity. But I think as the movie went on,
Hmm.
I suppose that was the point. She was a non-entity because she didn't know who Peter was. So there
Hmm.
was an emotional connection there. These are two potentially kind of strangers for all intents and purposes. And that's why the chemistry felt stunted, but that's why it worked because the chemistry was gone. When Doctor Strange done that spell, any connection they had was gone. And it was so sad. And like I it does suck. I don't know, will they get Peter back with MJ? And if not, who will be his next love interest? Will it be Black Cat? Will it be Gwen Stacy? I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. I think Zendaya was good. And again, like it was one of those performances I had to ruminate on. It wasn't that she didn't have any chemistry. It was because she didn't remember who he was. That's why the chemistry was kind of, I'm not going to say lackluster. It just wasn't initially there because this is no longer a couple. This is a person who has forgotten everything about Peter. So that makes sense. That's a credible kind of reason for the performance.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought this was her best performance out of all three Spider-Man films. I mean, she's a great actress. Although I didn't really haven't seen her do anything. I never saw Euphoria. I didn't see the Dune series. So I really don't really get the chance to see her outside of Spider-Man. But from what I understand, I think she's a very great actress. I thought obviously her and Tom Holland had some great chemistry together. I guess because since they are a couple and they are married, some of the scenes they had were very great. Some of the emotional scenes that they have, especially when she discovers the letter that he gives her, I thought that was very touching. And like I said, yeah, bring back. I have a theory that his neighbor was Black Cat. That idea came to me as well, but you never saw her name was Felicia Hardy, if I remember correctly. I don't think she ever said her name, but then again, she could be lying. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Felicia Hardy as a Black Cat.
I look, I think, I think Sydney Sweeney for two very big reasons, two enormous reasons, and those two enormous reasons are she was in Madam Web and she's a good actress. Haha! I bet you thought I was talking about something else, you perverts.
No, I knew you were going to not go there, Mark, because
Yeah,
Because I'm
Jen had
pretty
cut
sure.
my bollocks off.
I know, yeah, she would. Yeah, it's because someone put up on a post. I think I saw on a Facebook that Sydney Sweeney should be cast as Felicia Hardy and Black Cat, and I got nothing against Sydney Sweeney. I guess the sex appeal would work, and because what type of character Felicia Hardy is and what she is to Spider Man, so the sex appeal would work, and that in that instant. But I don't know if she would be able to handle the physical demands of playing a character like Felicia Hardy.
Well,
But then again,
like again, it was a dog shit movie. It was a dog shit movie, but I think the girls in fucking Madam Web done a good job. It's just the movie
mm,
around them was fucking
oh
pants,
yeah.
like, you know.
But then again, she did do 3 seasons of no, yeah, 3 seasons of Euphoria. When some of the stuff she had to
Mhm.
do in that particular film, I guess she could make a good Felicia Hardy as a Black Cat. So that's something to look forward to. Um, Obviously, we have to. Obviously, let's talk about obviously what I thought was the best part of the film was obviously Spider-Man and Frank's banter back and forth, which I thought was the best part of the film.
Yeah, I love this, and it makes sense to bring the Punisher in because the Punisher's first appearance was in 1974 in issue 129. The
Mm-hmm.
Jackal hired him to kill Spider-Man. And if you go back and read this comic and you look at the Jackal and you're like, wait, Frank fell for this fucking dude? I mean, seriously, you look at the Jackal and you're like, this motherfucker's sus as fuck. Um, I liked it. I I don't know if he fit in perfectly because I it's going to be interesting for people who've seen this movie to go back and watch the Netflix series and the Disney Plus series because Frank is a fucking monster in that
Oh
in the
yes, oh
best
yes.
and worst way. And in this movie, I think the thing is we don't get to see him do punishing, so that's why he kind of
Mm-hmm.
works because, like, you know, it'd be pretty funny him doing quips with Peter, and he's like, "Yeah, I love you, kid," and then blowing off some dude's head with a sawn-off shotgun. I think totally you might get a bit of whiplash there, like, you know.
Yeah, I love you. Boom, Frank! I told you not to kill that guy.
Not again. I know my suit's red, but this is getting ridiculous.
That actually might be funny. Seeing those two go off each other. He tells them something to Peter, and then he blows some guy's head off, and Peter freaks out. It gotta be
Yeah,
funny.
I am.
It'll, it'll be Marvel's Odd Couple.
I won't too many more. I don't want to get a copyright strike. But yeah, the way they'd worked together before. They worked together on a kind of medieval adventure shot here in Ireland years ago, and
Mhm,
then obviously they'd worked on the Odyssey. And the way Berntal explained it was he approached it like it was a big brother, little brother dynamic. And I think that
mhm.
worked really well for the movie.
Oh yes, it definitely worked well. Yeah, because they had the audience cracking up with their banter. What do you think about the overall plot of the film before we get into what I'm pretty sure everyone wants to talk about, but the overall plot of the film when it comes to
Um,
Spider-Man and looking for the person who's possessing everybody?
I see that's the interesting one. Like you mentioned before we went live that it like it did feel like a giant sized Marvel kind of comic where you had the central Spider-Man story, but you had all these characters jumping in, and you had one character from another series of comics kind of being the main kind of threat. And it's like, yeah, you've this one character blundering into someone else's comic. The other characters like, Jesus Christ, I have to deal with this now. So it did work. Maybe it felt a bit unwieldy in parts, but I don't think it was a major detriment. I do feel though that the character we're going to be talking about, there is some issues I have with that.
Hmm. Campbell said the plot was not there for me. Definitely felt like an actual comic book movie that should have had a better plot. Yeah, I guess. when obviously it was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. It was written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. I guess they thought they were trying to make the plot simple, so that way we're more focusing on the characters other than the actual story. So I give them credit. The reason why the plot was very simple, and actually has to do with the motivations of the person, what they're looking for when it comes to obviously damage control and what they're looking for. Although I don't I've never seen this set of powers when it comes to this particular character. That actually goes to another person's character, but I don't know if they actually did any research. Did they try to add more to that person's character, even though we never seen her do that type of power work before in anything in the comics?
I I know Professor X is able to do it to an extent.
Mm,
I did feel they were playing fast and loose with the with look. Also, yeah, spoiler. It's Jean Grey. In case anyone's wondering, it was fucking Jean
mm,
Grey. And I again, I think Sadie Sink, great actress, but I don't know was she suited to the role either. I'm wondering was she cast because of Stranger Things and she was the intent. The performance was good, but by Christ, I hated the character. I hate honestly God. If this is the Jean Grey of the MCU, I'm going to be supporting Senator Kelly all the way. I'm going to be fucking wipe these fucking mutants out, man, because they're assholes. They're assholes, man. Sorry, Monty.
That's okay. Yeah, it's like I said before. When it comes to Jean Grey, I'm pretty sure most comic book fans know when it comes to Jean Grey and her power set. This is not a power set you never seen anywhere in the comic books before. She's not known to possess a person's mind and take control and get them to do what she wants them to do. To be actually honest, that power set actually belongs to a comic book character called Sean Koyman from the New Mutants. Because if you actually read she first appeared in the Spider. I can't remember the issue, but she actually first appeared in the Spider-Man comic book. She was trying to find a way to free her brother from her uncle's influence, and she possesses Spider-Man. And he all of a sudden goes up against the Fantastic Four, and then eventually that gets her to Charles Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. But that's a power set that she has. I've never seen that
Yeah.
ever before with Jean Grey.
It is. I think it was just we need to have Jean Grey in this
Mm,
story somehow, and like that this is like telekinesis and stuff like that. It's a hard power to portray on screen and stay interesting. So I think with this again, it was just something that Spider-Man couldn't fucking really.
mhm.
It was just something that would have been able to give Spider-Man a run for his money. Um, I just think I get what you're saying as well. It's like yeah, this is a big departure from what we've seen Jean Grey do in before. I think the closest we got was in the first X-Men movie where she helps Charles control the Brotherhood of Mutants when they're leaving the
Mhm.
train station, and her and Charles, I think she manages to take over Sabretooth and grabs
Yes.
Magneto's neck, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
Mhm.
this I'd say it was altered, Monty, just to make it more of a kind of obstacle for Spider-Man to take her on.
Mhm. Every other Jean Grey is better than this for some reason.
Yeah, again, I'm liking this Campbell dude because Jesus Christ. Okay, right. I want to specify something before I make my declaration. Sadie Sink, lovely actress. She seems like an absolute delight on the red carpet. She done a great performance, but by God, this version of Jean Grey is a cunt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Yeah, go ahead, man, go ahead. You know I love ranting.
My God, I don't look. Jesus fucking Christ! Right, so you want us to get behind the character. You want us like, oh, she's misunderstood. She didn't have to pretend to be MJ and pretend to actually fall back in love with Peter. That was so fucking cruel. Sorry, I'm choking. Hang on a second. Sorry. I got so angry I started choking. That was so fucking cruel. I mean, Jesus Christ. And just, she was unlikable, Monty.
Yeah, some people have mentioned that, and they felt as though that's not the best way to bring in Jean Grey. That she was, I mean, you want the motivations are fine, and I get what she was trying to do, but some of the actions that she takes are very cruel and almost criminal like, if you want to be honest. Obviously, taking possession of MJ, making Peter believe that she had remembered him. I kind of get when you take a look from her perspective, she's trying to fool Peter Parker, but the act is still cruel. Cruel. It's almost something that we never actually seen Jean Grey do. Perhaps maybe when she was a Phoenix and her emotions took over, so she would do things like change people's minds, but that actually happened in the comic books, like when Kitty Pryde first appeared, and of course her father skits it over what happened to his daughter, and she says enough of this, so she literally just changes his mind and says that she's going to go on ahead and let Kitty attend Xavier's school. And I thought, wow, that's kind of not like Jean Grey at all. So I guess that's what I'm thinking, what the writers were thinking of here. Because when I'm looking at a film, I'm looking and I'm trying to decipher what the writers are trying to do and why they did, or why they made Jean do that. It's kind of a bad way because you know that this is a character you want people to cheer when she becomes the next man. Not, but they're going to have a hard time trying to let people feel sorry for her and then make her become a hero. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that when the X Men films comes out in 2028.
If a bit of fan theory, right? If I was going to do this, if I was going to do the plot line, I would have introduced her as Madeline Pryor. I would have
Mm-hmm.
introduced us that she had maybe lost her memory, that she was Jean Grey and
Mm-hmm.
was essentially the Goblin Queen. And that's why she was such a roar and see you next Tuesday. I
Mm-hmm.
again I could not like again what she done to Peter was cruel. Also, the amount of collateral damage when she stole that tank, when she
Mm-hmm.
controlled the Hulk. Okay, there was some asshole kind of fucking soldiers and mercenaries in that building, but there was also civilians. There was civilians on the street when she controlled that tank. Like she was again. I Robert Kelly, you're getting my fucking vote. Mutants are a fucking menace, man.
Campbell says the CGI and her powers were weak to me. She definitely doesn't fit the character. I think the cast was wrong. Tell me something, Campbell. If not Sadie Sink, who would you would cast as Jean Grey? Yeah. That I don't know because based upon what I saw in the casting of the X Men, they're all relatively young. And I think what Marvel is doing is that they want to make sure that to save money and not cast veteran actors where they have to spend half their budget on their salaries, they cast very young actors in this film where their salaries won't be so high. Depending on, and also depends upon what type of contract that they sign too, how many films that they're going to be in.
It is going to be a bit of a hurdle because the X-Men franchise is one of the tentpole comic book movies. This was that and Blade were the first kind of movies. That Blade and Spider-Man were the first movies that really launched
Mm-hmm.
comic book movies and made the kind of the road for the MCU. So if they don't get those characters right off the fucking bounce, like they're screwed.
Oh yeah. Uh, Funny you mentioned that because if you're pretty sure now she's been cast as Rogue.
Yeah, again, I've kept away from Obsession because people are driving me fucking nuts talking about it. I, but
I'm, s- I'm
but
yeah,
you've seen. Oh, sorry, Monty.
yeah. I've seen Obsession, and I get. Yeah, and it's sad because so many people have been talking about it and talk about it. That of course, for people who haven't seen it like you, by the time you get to see, you probably not will enjoy it as much. But when it comes to what she's done in, did you ever see her in the Superman and Lois TV show?
Obsession was good. Do you think she'd make a good rogue though? From what you've seen in Obsession, does she suit the
Yeah,
character?
put it this way. I think she can do a good rogue, depending upon what type of rogue character they're going to have her play. I think they're going to not do the same thing what they did with Anna Paquin's version of Roe, or even Elliot Page's not got the wrong person.
Kitty Pride.
Kitty Pride. Yeah, I got the wrong person. Like Anna Paquin. I don't think that as long as they don't do that particular version of Roe, because I thought they did the role wrong. But I get the reason why, because you can only do so much with that character when you don't have access to Ms. Marvel or Captain
Yeah.
Marvel, what you're going to call her. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty. It's going to be interesting to see what type of a character, what type of role character you're going to have her play.
Yeah, because Anna Paquin's rogue started just so Anna Paquin's rogue vanished into the back of those movies as they went along.
Uh-huh. Did you ever see Superman and Lois?
I watched the first season. I heard she was good in that.
No, yeah, she was. She was good. She was good. She was good. That's basically how she got started, was being in that show, and she was pretty good. Because when I saw that she was going to be in this film, I said, "Whoa, well, she's branching out of into horror now." Because she's going to be in another horror film. I will see this before he starts filming the X Men. But yeah, it's when it like I said before, when Sadie Sink, like I said before, her performance in the film was good. But like I said before, and I get her motivations. Her motivations were very good. But like I said before, some of the stuff that she does in the film, it's going to be very hard and very tricky to try to get people to, okay, what she did was wrong, but we're going to try to make her a hero. It's almost similar to what Wanda's character did in Wanda Vision show.
Yeah. It's like
And
you
then in the
brainwashed an entire town, woman, and you want us to root for you? Jesus fuck.
and then she does the stuff that she does in the Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. It's like, you're really going to go out your way to try to redeem this person.
Did,
You're
did,
going to have your work cut out for you.
that said, and you make an excellent point, and my friend John who watched it, maybe that is the plan. Maybe it is
Mm,
a way for people to go, well, we like these bunch of superheroes. We like Spider-Man. These are all good, but these mutants are a fucking menace. Maybe that's how, because that's always an issue I've had with Marvel Comics. How come everyone embraces and loves the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and She-Hulk and stuff, but they don't like mutants? It's like, we like these superpowered beings, but we don't like these superpowered beings. And I get, maybe with stuff like WandaVision and with stuff like fucking Gene, I'm an angry, see you next Tuesday, fucking Gray. You can kind of see the framework for why there would be the kind of the mutant discrimination in the
mm,
MCU universe.
mm-hmm. And he said, I didn't like any of the new. As he put Storm and Rogue work. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what no who's writing it, who's directing it. No, because some people have their reactions. I'm pretty sure some people have their reactions to Indy Navarrette's character. because she's not Southern. She doesn't have a Southern draw. As a matter of fact, she has a mixed heritage of Mexican and Australian. And I'm pretty sure some people will
Yeah,
not like the fact, not like that at all.
yeah, yeah, but people fucking, if you're gonna bitch about that, where were you bitching when Anna Paquin was cast? That girl's
Mm,
Australian, like, for fuck's sake. It's
mm.
like,
Oh yeah, she's
chill.
Australian too.
Yeah, yeah.
But some of these people they're just going to rage hate and do their stuff because that's what they do.
They- but 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 what I was saying earlier on, I'm interested to get your opinion. Do you think making the likes of Wanda and Jean so powerful, but also so kind of reprehensible, do you think that is trying to establish that in this universe we love our superheroes, but we hate the mutants? Do you think that's what it's kind of setting up for that kind of, that division?
It's a tricky way to do that, but I understand the reason why because you have to make it so that the rest of the in-universe world doesn't trust mutants. You know, you have to make them, have them do some despicable things, in this universe because we haven't seen them in this universe yet. So if you want to make it so that way, it's just like in the comic that they're persecuted all the time because everyone fears them. So because of the actions that Wanda did and because of the actions that Jean did, that's going to make people mistrust mutants no matter how good their intentions are, no matter how what Professor X or Charles
Mm.
Xavier does, they're still going to fear and hate them. So that's why when I was looking at the film, I said, okay, that's going to be terrible. But then when you look at the overall picture, then that will give the reasons people not to trust and hate mutants.
Yeah. Again, it
Mm,
was always something I found tricky. It's like, how come everyone is okay with Ben Grimm's the Tin and the She Hulk, but they don't like kind of Remy LeBeau or fucking, Beast?
mhm,
It's like, we like this lovable weirdo, but we hate this weird looking lovable weirdo. It's just it always kind of fucking perplexed me with certain comics, and I do I don't know if it was the best way to go about it, making Jean kind of having the personality of a fucking Karen, but at the same time, it
mhm.
does the job. It does the job. I'm I'm interested to see how it go. But that Jean Grey, Jesus Christ, Senator Kelly, you're getting my vote.
What do you think? Thought about the fight scenes, and I think one of the great things about what this director did was I think it's one of the best Spider-Man films and the Tom Holland films where you actually get to see some decent web slinging.
Yeah, I liked it, particularly with the hand near the end.
Hmm.
Um, it was a bit CG heavy,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like I think they realized. I think the producers realized, okay, this is Spider Man. We can't cheap out the visual effects because there's been a few MCU movies where you could tell that they're really fucking pinching the pennies. Not with this one, not with this
No.
one. Um, I like the scene as well where he's webbing up the Hulk. I thought that was cool. It's like, okay, I need to
Hmm.
web up the Hulk, but also need to stop him from destroying the building at the same time. I thought that was cool. Um, I do wish, I do wish we got a couple more fights with Tombstone and Matt
Hmm.
Garg and Scorpion. I think that would have been cool. It
Yeah.
was it. Oh, sorry, Monty. One.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead and finish because I have a theory about that.
I was like, you know, we spent time with Jean, and that was cool. That was the main antagonist, but we didn't really spend any time with kind of Spider-Man's rogues gallery. I would have preferred if we got a bit more with Matt Gargan, if we got some more with Tombstone. I just felt like it was lacking a lot of Spider-Man villains in this Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, because I like the actor that portrayed Tombstone. I wanted to see more of him because he was great as Tobias White in
Black
you know,
Lightning.
Black Lightning. Yes, I thought he
Yeah,
was great. And the fact he only got that little cameo appearance, I was like, well, darn! That's like I expected to see more of him because I thought he was he was cast great as Tombstone, and he definitely fits the character. I like that they actually had his teeth just like Tombstone has in the comics.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I also believe that her sister is not dead, and I think she might come back in the X Men. That's something that they can actually put in the film, and they will become rivals, and eventually Jean will have to do something, and that might be the redemption arc that she gets when her sister comes back and she's not dead and threatens the whole world, and something happens. That's a possibility. I do agree with that. That's a good theory.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to be next for Spider-Man? And do you think Tom Holland will return?
Oh Jesus, yeah. I'm like, is has he been cast in the initial Doomsday movie? Has his name turned up?
They have not. They have not mentioned him at all as in Doomsday or in Secret Wars. There's a lot of speculation that obviously Tobey Maguire will be in Doomsday, and but they haven't said anything. If he is going to be in either Doomsday or Secret Wars, they kept that particular casting quiet.
Yeah, I think it all depends on Secret War. If he's not going to be in Doomsday, they'll definitely put him in Secret War because the post credit scene also kind of set that up. I felt that was a setup for Secret War.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see more Tom Holland, more of the mature Tom Holland. Again, yeah, do Black Cat, do Gwen Stacy. Maybe have him rekindle his romance with Zendaya, but Monty? Do you think that ship has sailed with MJ and Peter?
Yeah, I think it's time that they move away from this MJ because she's not Mary Jane. I think it's time that we actually bring an actual love interest in this particular version of Spider-Man. Preferably Gwen Stacy. I prefer to see a Gwen Stacy in here first before they actually do an MJ if they want to go that route. That's something I would like to see. Um, would you like to see Miles Morales come in soon?
Fuck yes, absolutely. I now the thing is, would you? Jesus, I feel so bad because I love the movies. I love the Spider Verse movies.
Mhm.
Um, who would you cast though? Who
I
would
don't
you
know.
cast?
I don't know. Somebody mentioned that the black actor from Stranger Things would make a great Miles Morales. So I was talking to somebody at my job was telling me that the guy from Stranger Things he would be a great character for great casting for Miles Morales.
Yeah. Again, the thing is though, I just I love this movie. I do love the other Tom Holland movies, but by God, the Spider Verse movies run rings around these. I
Hmm.
know they're animated, but they're just those two movies are just they're packed with heart. And Miles Morales is just such a great character. He's just again, he's likable and he's kind of like the everyman, like Spider Man. Obviously, yeah, like Spider Man, like the Peter Parker Spider Man, but it's different because whereas Spider Man has kind of like this I don't know, boy next door thing.
Hmm.
Miles is more Miles is more fucking, I think he's more Jesus, I don't know how to explain it. I think he's more contemporary. He is more contemporary because there's always Peter Parker will always have that golly gosh kind of he'll
Hmm.
still have the DNA of the way he was from the 1960s, where fucking where Miles Morales is just, I think, someone who can, after a particular generation, anyone born after 1996 or 1997, they'll get Miles better than they will the kind of the classic Spider-Man. That's just my opinion.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What's your opinion on it? Do you think he is more of a obviously there is also, the African American aspect where that's great because now you have a Spider-Man that the African American community can identify with. But do you think there's also a generational thing there as well?
It's a generational thing. Obviously, when the Miles Morales character was first created, they were just trying to go in a different direction with the Spider-Man character without having to replace Peter Parker because he was in a different universe. So I thought they did a fantastic job in his creation. Obviously, in the day's world, or even back then, but especially now, where we have the nitwits and the rage haters, or keep saying that no, Miles Morales is not my Spider-Man, and I don't know how many times we have to say it. He didn't replace Peter Parker. Peter
No,
Parker is still Spider-Man. That's the one thing they did. They didn't replace Peter Parker. It's just he's just another hero that has arachnid powers, and that's
it
it.
it's stupid because it's like with Supergirl and She-Hulk. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, they've gone woke. These characters have been around since the fucking 60s, you fucking dickbag. Just fucking Christ. And again, that's the same with poor old Miles. Fair fucks. I'm delighted as well. And
Uh,
I like as well. I will. Someone told me Childish Gambino was a big inspiration for the character. I don't know if there's any truth to that,
mm-hmm.
but like he even plays Miles' uncle in this right? Yeah, he plays the Prowler in
Yes.
in in this universe. So I like that. Again, it's you're Peter's still there. You just have another Spider-Man, and people go, oh, Spider-Man's gone woke. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, lads, what the fuck? Please, just get out of the basement. Go get a coffee. Go out in the park. Feed the pigeons. You fucking sad bastards.
Get out of your mommy's basement. Go
Yeah.
get a life. Go do something and stop being typewriter warriors.
Yeah,
and
just
feel like
seriously. Have a burrito and a wank and just fucking relieve that stress, okay?
oh, okay. All right. Final opinion on Spider-Man: Brand New Day.
Um, yeah, I had fun with No Way Home, but I definitely feel this is the best of the Holland ones. I don't and I'm not shitting on the other ones. I do feel that this one feels the most like a Raimi Spider-Man,
Hmm.
and it's it's contained well enough. There is obviously those nods to the MCU, but it didn't feel like homework. And that's like with the other kind of movies, with like Nick Fury turning up and then it being the Skrulls, or with kind of Tony Stark dying. Again, not a shitload of homework for the time, but I don't think you should have to rely on external media. And I know the MCU is an external media, but I don't.
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of having to see 15 other fucking movies to get this movie. And I just I think this one it's a good one. I think it's the best of them. And poor Campbell is probably going to disagree with me. And again, you're probably right in your opinion. I just feel that this felt the most like Spider-Man. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I do. It's because Homecoming was the first actual Spider-Man movie since his appearance in Civil War. So that's why that film doesn't actually feel like a Spider-Man film
Mm.
like this film was, because it still has ties to the Avengers, you know. And even though you try to see Peter by himself, but he still has Tony Stark. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, this feels more like a Spider-Man film as opposed to the other three Spider-Man films in the MCU. But this stuff, because it's just strictly just Spider-Man. Yeah, we do have Frank. Yeah, and I almost forgot to say, what do you thought about Yelena's appearance in this film?
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was cute as well
yeah,
because,
yeah, I
like,
know. So some people complain about it, but I had no problem because I said you have to understand he is in New York. The Thunderbolts are there, so of course he's going to obviously have some run-ins with some of those people there. So I really had no problem with her being in the film.
yeah, I liked as well that he kind of like
Mm,
he did the newscast was showing he'd built up his notoriety, so he
mm,
was going to have. I'm not saying sway, but he was going to have. Hey, can I knocking on the door of the Avengers and going, hey, can I get some info here? They weren't going to like come rushing to his aid, but
mm,
like again, it was pretty cool, and I did like as well that Helena was able to read him because her from her experience in Thunderbolts, she saw a kindred spirit, and oh my god, this guy is lonely and he's miserable, and I've
mm.
been there before. So I like that as well. And someone told me Florence Pugh kind of declined payment for the cameo, so she
Fake
kind of
news.
someone said that, and she was just happy out because she got to spend the day in a spa. So like
Mm.
fuck it.
All right, all right, yeah. So there you go, Spider-Man fans. That is our little Spider-Man brand new day spoiler review. We got want to thank Marty for coming on. Of course, as always, Marty, what's going on with the Trash Picture Show?
Well, at the moment, I'm kind of getting back into a rhythm. I had some shit going on with me there earlier on. So yeah, I am back doing reviews of figures and movies. Like yourself, my review for The End of Oak Street is up. Make sure to check that out after you've checked out the excellent Horror Miser Monty G's review. And yeah, myself and Jen done a stream. We're getting back to doing streams again. And yeah, so definitely check them out. And also, being a cheeky motherfucker, check out the gorgeous Jen's reviews from the grave because her channel kicks arse as well.
Yes, yes. Please check out my good friend Jen. I was here from the Horror Hangout live stream. As a matter of fact, that's coming up this Tuesday. We were going to be talking about the best openings and endings of horror films. We'll have our special guest Dave Diggs will be on. So check us out on
Nice.
Tuesday on my channel as well. And of course, my review of The End of Oak Street will be up as well, along as a trailer reaction for the latest Giant Snake film. Trailer came out yesterday. I think it's Beware Boniqua. I'm probably mispronouncing the snake's name, but yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
going to be.
I seen that. It looks awesome.
Mm,
It looks kick ass.
mhm. So once again, thank you very much for participating. And like I said, Marty's channel will be in the description box below. So you want to check out his channel as well. And I'll see y'all guys later. And of course, as always, please stay safe out there, everyone.
Shlana Walya.